nature of the particular state itself becomes questionable and illegitimate in the hearts and minds of the citizen. Are we there yet?
Yes.
Wikipedia dictionary has an even stronger connotation for a failed state. It says it is a political body that has disintegrated to a point where basic conditions and responsibility of a sovereign government no longer functions properly. Likewise, when a nation weakens and its standard of living declines, it introduces the possibility of government collapse. They indicated that 3 prominent symbiotic items of a failing state are these: loss of control of its territory, or the monopoly of legitimate use of physical force therein, erosion of legitimate authority to make collective decisions, and then the third is inability to provide public service. I've said over the last few days that I believe that the Commonwealth of the Bahamas is teetering on becoming a failed state. I know people have objected to that, but some of the things that I've identified, I see very much symbiotic of what is happening in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And the fact that we have gotten to a point where the labor of the Bahamian citizen is exploited. We know, and we're not, everybody likes to use this word now, xenophobic. Oh, we are so scared of the foreigner. But if the foreigner is coming to take your bread, and I have no problem with foreign investment, but the fact is, the Bahamian, this is our country. We should have first place in our country. If there was vision, if there is adequate vision given towards creating industry and a philosophy of creating industry, we will be able to develop our country and not just look to foreign investments to make it happen. We have to look to that. Of course, we want some money to come in from foreign investors, but we don't want the foreign investor to become number one. He should be part of the process, not the entire process. And I believe that both the FNM and the PLP have concentrated so much on this foreign investment that they've allowed the Bahamian labor to be exploited. And they have allowed their lives to be frustrated by deprivation. Just as we see the issue on Cabbage Beach, there are many other issues and places where this has happened. And we have to get to a point where we encourage and where we use the philosophy of the preamble of the Constitution to go back to governance of the Bahamian people. Once we do that, we are going to be in a place where the Bahamian people can now be satisfied that their life is on upward mobility. And I'm not saying that to say that everybody is suffering. I'm saying that the empowerment, the full empowerment of the Bahamian people has to happen, has to be to a point where we are satisfied, we are comfortable. And in closing, based on Bill number 4, I just want to say this thing. If we pass Bill number 4, this is only my idea, for this insertion of the word sex, I think that all doors will be open to the full secularization and liberalization of the Bahamian society. If we do this, it means many laws, probably all laws, has to be gender mainstream to make sure that they fit into the category or they will be challenged. I'm not an attorney, but I think the attorneys can speak to that. But my thing as a layperson is that if Bill 4 is passed, the full secularization of Bahamian society would be at a place where the original intent of the preamble would be in question, because now they would be able to challenge throwing out this preamble of the Constitution, because everything now would not actually go into agreement with what the founders intended. In fact, it will be in a position where it can be thrown out of the door, because we would have gotten to the place where things can be challenged, where the foundations, where the morality of the country, respect for Christian values will be out of the door. And so I believe that as we go forward, we must consider the preamble of the Constitution in the consideration of not only governance, but the amendments of any constitutional items in the Constitution and any laws going forward. Thank you so much.
Calling at the
to make sure I get it that Ali is the leader of the Bahamas Constitution Party. One more time for the leader of the Constitution Party. Ali mentioned a couple things, and we are honored to have all of you here. Good to see Rudy in the back. Brand, it's good to see you. Come over down together for Brandon and Rudy. We have 2 additional speakers, and of course, we're going to have an opportunity to share, but there are 2 persons here I really just want us in this midterm to just sort of say something because she referenced Cabbage Beach. And at the front of the Cabbage Beach, the Paradise Island, the sense of us being free in our own country, is this beautiful lady here who Paul and others and John, I see John has also come and sailed with us before the night is out. At the fore of it has been somebody who returned to these islands because she understood the dreams and the vision of Sir Lyndon Pillen. And this week, she was called upon to pay the greatest price of it. Now when you come, I think Paul is your lawyer, so you can't say anything about the case. Am I correct, Mr. Attorney? So put your hands together, please. This is the type of leadership that Dr. Miles is talking about. We're going to come and just ask her to say hello and whatever else for a minute or 2, and then we have another guest in the house we want to also give a few.
Thank you. Good night, everyone. I'm so happy to be a part of your gathering this evening. And in my introduction of meeting Mr. Roland Paul, when I left the Bahamas, I was 11 years old, and I left the Bahamas because I thought we were way behind the 8 ball. I wanted to experience something different. I wanted to live in a faster pace. And I went to the United States during a time when there was much racism. Leaving the Bahamas at 11 years old was really hard for me, and I sure did miss the Bahamas. At 19 years old, I returned back home to my beloved Bahama land, and I was so happy because just before I came back, I began to study the dream and the vision of Sir Lyndon Oscar Pinland. And I asked myself, why am I living in a land where I'm the minority? Why don't I go back home where the blacks are the majority? And so I came back home with great expectations. And when I got back here, issues and things surrounding my country really disappointed me so badly. I could not believe that this was happening in my beloved Bahama land. And to top it off, I am a taxi driver, and I also work from the Bahamas Tourism Welcome Center, where I would like to say that I'm a proud ambassador for this country. So I'm the one that takes the tourists around the island, proudly representing my Bahamas. Well, as you guys are all aware of, an incident took place a few days ago, and I took my guests to Cabbage Beach to drop them off like we normally do. This is all a part of the tour. And when I got there were barricades on both sides. I mean, it was completely barricaded off. I was like, no, this is not the Bahamas. And the thing that really upset me is that when I asked what was going on, I was really turned away like I was nothing. And that really bothered me. And so I started making phone calls. And to cut a long story short, because I know there are lots of speakers to come here, I was insulted. I was told nothing would come out of it. And you know something? God connected me with Glenn Roll. I am so happy today, who then connected me with Mr. Paul Boss. So I'm so happy. But as a result of that, things began to move. I began to see people from all walks of life that I didn't know that was here in the Bahamas. And these people all shared the same vision like I did. These were persons who were passionate about their country. And these were people who were really passionate about the things that was going on in this country. So I'm like, yes, Lord, finally, I find some people that I could connect with. And so in closing, I say to all of you tonight, to let's stand proud as Bahamians in our land, and not second-class Bahamians, but we should also be first-class Bahamians. And anybody that threatens to take this away from us, then we have to stand for what we believe in. Even me getting arrested for the first time, I think it's not going to be the last time, because like I was telling Mr. Roll and Mr. Moss, that it's like I'm pregnant all over again. Like I have to give birth to something and I just can't sit down and watch what's happening in this country. So I pray I don't get arrested again, but if I do, then I will be arrested for what I believe in.
Hello, hi, and before you leave, I am proud of you. I'll tell you why. You still a Bahamian. They go away for 6 months and they talking American. You still come out talking to them. I like that.
All right. Thank you so much. Come on, let's give her some love because she really was going through a lot. And I'm gonna, this young man on the other side of you, he is a Bahamian. He has been a voice. He also is going to take some time out because sometimes, and I think Paul always emphasizes, if this is about citizenship, why don't we deal with some of the issues we have right before our door? And I think Luby for so long have been left almost as the lone voice crying in the wilderness. But tonight we want to introduce to you one who has been on the course to find a bridge to see how we can move the country forward. And so we're going to invite Luby, who is leading the No Votes, to just sort of take a moment, say hello, and advance his course so that we can also take that as we move forward in the new Bahamas. Put your hands together one more time. Good night, everybody. Again, with protocol having been established, I just want to say to Glenn a very special thank you for extending an opportunity to me to be able to lend my voice to the advancement of a national conversation. It is a pleasure once again to be here. But ladies and gentlemen, a few days, about last week, a friend of mine reached out to me and said, Luby Georges, as an individual who has an influential voice in the largest migrant community in the Bahamas, and as one who grew up a person holding a foreign nationality for the majority of your life, I think that you should start a campaign to oppose or to resist at this particular moment the proposed amendment bills. Ladies and gentlemen, for those that do not know, I am 30 years old. I was a Haitian for 24 years of my life. All right? So it means I know the struggles, I know the pains, I know what it is to not be able to travel. I know what it is to not be able to open up a bank account here in my country. I know what it is, and I see it every day around me, for individuals to not be able to enroll in the new NHI program. I know what it is for individuals who are registered with NIV to not be able to update their account and simply get a smart card, even though contributions are being made to NIV on a weekly basis for them. I know what it is for a young lady who has 10 BGCSEs right now and is paying her way through nursing school and she has a job also, she has to now transfer her monies off of her bank account to a sister's account or risk forfeiting her money. So this is what the bank told her, simply because she does not have a piece of paper or some document validating her Bahamianism or regularizing her as a Bahamian or giving her status, even though she's been waiting for years upon years upon years for a determination to be made on her citizenship application. You see, if the government is going to say yes in a timely manner. If you're going to say no in a timely manner. You simply need to make a determination and normalize people's lives and allow them to take the next step. Today, ladies and gentlemen, not 2 years removed, our government went out of their way and implemented new immigration policies that had a retroactive effect. Meaning, persons who apply for citizenship, who was born in the country and only knows this country, apply for citizenship for 5, 10, 15 years. Those individuals' applications were affected the minute we implemented those new laws and policies. Persons now have to go and apply for something that is called a general work permit.
Individuals who are born in this country in tough economic times have to go to the immigration department and pay now $1,000 for a general work permit that is only valid for 1 year. For 1 year. These are persons that was born in this country. Whether they celebrate Haitian Flag Day or Jamaican Independence Day, those individuals also celebrate July 10th. Those individuals also know what Junkanoo is. Check the Junkanoo shacks. They are promoting Bahamian culture every day, just as you and I are doing. These individuals only know this particular country. We, again, are not 2 years removed from the government going out of their way to making life even harder than it was before for these individuals. And now the government is proposing to us, the Bahamian people, they want to use our hard-earned taxpayer dollars, millions of our dollars, to go to a referendum to allow a foreigner who knows absolutely nothing about this particular country a guaranteed right to Bahamian citizenship. And yet we have persons born in this country who can't get it. Something is wrong with that. Something is wrong with that. And so, ladies and gentlemen, my position on voting no, and I've been encouraging persons of foreign parentage and even my Bahamian people who do not have any foreign links to vote no, because it is not right. I see bills number 1, 2, and 3 as citizenship bills. I don't see them as gender equality bills. Because if you look at them carefully, they're talking about the path to citizenship, who can pass it on, how one can gain Bahamian citizenship. And I do not fundamentally oppose bills number 1, 2, and 3, But what I'm simply saying is, if we allow us to go to a referendum and for us to vote no, and they pass those 3 bills, we may be waiting another 40 years before they ever bring up the conversation of citizenship again. And so I say resist, I say vote no, until such time as you can go and present a comprehensive citizenship bill to us, or conversation where we deal with the entire thing. Do not just deal with the married and whatever you want to choose to deal with. No, we as the Bahamian people, we must realize that the power lies within us. We cannot simply say that we are going to vote for these particular bills because those are the ones that they gave us. I've heard persons say, well, we gotta go with it because that's what they gave us. No, we can resist, and we can send a clear message to the government that says we want to deal with this thing holistically. And to deal with this thing holistically means you must address these thousands of stateless individuals that are living here in our country today.